Have you ever looked down at your legs and thought, they used to feel stronger than this? Maybe you're not moving as quickly as you used to. Or maybe the stairs feel just a little taller than they did a few years back. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know you're not alone. Muscle loss after 60 is incredibly common. But here's the part most people don't realize: it's not just about getting older. It's also about what's on your plate. Yes, it turns out there are a few everyday foods, things most of us have in our kitchen right now, that can quietly sabotage your strength. Foods that block your muscles from growing, from healing, from keeping you stable, mobile, and independent. And the worst part: most folks think these foods are totally harmless, even comforting. That's why this video matters. Because if you're over 60, the last thing you want is to unknowingly feed your body something that's actually draining your energy and shrinking your muscles. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 common foods that science now shows can seriously interfere with muscle growth in seniors. And I promise it's not about guilt or giving up all the good things in life. It's about making better choices little by little. We'll also talk about delicious practical alternatives you can eat. Instead, foods that actually fuel your muscles, support your strength, and help you stay active longer. This isn't about a diet. It's about dignity. It's about keeping your balance. It's about being able to get out of that chair without needing someone to pull you up. And here's the kicker. One of the foods on this list might be something you've had just this morning. That's why I hope you'll stay with me through the entire video. Because even one small change can make a big difference when it comes to your strength and independence. Before we dive in, I'd love to hear from you. Do you ever wonder if something in your daily meals might be holding you back? Leave me a comment below. What's your go-to comfort food? Let's talk about it. And if you're someone who cares about staying strong, active, and independent well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to Health 365, and let's walk this journey together. All right, now take a breath, maybe sip your tea, and let's get started with the first food on the list. You might want to check what's in your fridge after this. You know, there was a time when having a soda with lunch felt like a little treat. A glass of sweet tea on a hot day, or a cookie after dinner. It's these small pleasures that made life feel cozy, especially as we got older. But here's the part. No one tells you when you hit your 60s, sugar doesn't treat your muscles the way it used to. I'm not just talking about a little weight gain or the dentist warning you about cavities. I'm talking about something deeper, something that quietly chips away at your muscle strength. The more sugar you eat, especially from sodas, candy, and baked goods, the more inflammation builds up in your body. And inflammation, my friend, is like rust to your muscles. It weakens them from the inside out. In fact, a large study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition followed older adults who consumed high amounts of added sugar. The findings were pretty shocking. Those eating more than 36 grams of added sugar a day had a much higher risk of frailty than those eating less than 15 grams. And what is frailty really? It's slower walking. It's struggling to get up out of a chair. It's the body saying, I can't quite keep up anymore. All because of sugar. And it's not just one study. Research shows that sugary drinks, especially sodas and fruit punches, mess with your insulin. That's the hormone that helps your body process sugar and send nutrients like the protein from your food straight into your muscle cells. But when sugar floods your system too often, your body starts ignoring insulin. That means protein doesn't get delivered where it needs to go. Your muscles starve. They shrink. Even if you're eating enough protein, it's like the delivery truck never arrives. It's sneaky, isn't it? You drink a soda to perk up in the afternoon. But that quick burst of energy sends your blood sugar soaring and then crashing. You feel tired again, maybe even a little weak. So what do most people do? They reach for more sugar, and the cycle keeps spinning while your muscles quietly suffer. This kind of inflammation doesn't hurt at first. It doesn't make your joints swell up or give you a fever. But deep down, your cells are burning through resources trying to fix the damage. And the more time your body spends fighting sugar-fueled inflammation, the less energy it has left to build or maintain strong muscles. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Do I have to give up all sugar forever? Of course not. Life's meant to be enjoyed. But there's a world of difference between an occasional homemade cookie and having sugary drinks or packaged snacks every single day. That daily habit, that quiet, easy ritual, is what slowly chips away at your strength. And let's be honest, sugar doesn't fill you up. It might make your taste buds happy for a moment, but it never satisfies your hunger the way real food does. So what happens? You eat more. And often you eat less of the stuff that actually builds muscle, like protein fiber or healthy fats. You're not just adding sugar, you're pushing out the good stuff. So the next time you reach for that soda or candy bar, I hope you'll pause and ask, is this helping me walk better, stand taller, stay independent? If the answer is no, maybe it's time for a new habit. Now, speaking of foods, there's one more that's incredibly common, especially at breakfast time, or when you're looking for something easy. But just like sugar, it might be working against your muscles without you even noticing. Let's talk about it next. And be ready, because this one surprises a lot of people. Now let's talk about something that shows up on a lot of breakfast plates and lunch sandwiches: ham, bacon, sausages, salami, deli meats. You know the ones. They're convenient, they're tasty, and for many of us, they've been part of our meals for decades. But as much as we might love the smell of bacon in the morning, our muscles don't feel the same way. Here's the truth that most people don't hear until it's already causing damage. Processed meats are one of the most quietly harmful foods for your muscles, especially after 60. Not because they don't have protein, but because of what comes with them. All those preservatives, the high sodium, the nitrates and nitrites, they stir up something in the body that wears your muscles down: chronic inflammation. A major study published in BMC Medicine tracked nearly 3,000 older adults in Spain. The researchers found that those who regularly ate processed meats had a significantly higher risk of mobility problems. We're talking about difficulties with walking, climbing stairs, getting out of chairs, basic things that most of us want to keep doing without help. And it wasn't just a slight difference. Those who ate the most processed meats were about 30% more likely to lose leg strength and agility over time. 30%. That's not a small number. That's the difference between staying independent and needing assistance. Now, what's really going on here? The answer lies in what these meats are doing behind the scenes. When your body is exposed to high levels of sodium and preservatives every day, your blood vessels suffer. The tiny capillaries that carry oxygen and nutrients to your muscles become stiff, inflamed, and less effective. That means your muscles get less of the fuel they need. Less oxygen, less amino acids, less support to grow, recover, or even just maintain their size and function. And there's something else: those nitrates and nitrites that are used to cure meats. When heated, especially during frying or grilling, they can form compounds that damage cells and even your DNA. Over time, this low-level damage chips away at muscle tissue. It's not like one sandwich will suddenly make you weak. But when it's a habit, when processed meats show up every day, it becomes a slow, steady erosion of your strength. Now, some folks will say, but bacon has protein, doesn't it? And sure it does. But think of it this way. If the protein comes bundled with inflammation toxins and artery-damaging chemicals, is that really helping your muscles, or is it giving with one hand and taking with the other? This isn't about guilt. It's about knowledge. Because once you know how your daily sandwich might be silently working against you, you get to make a better choice. You get to say, I want to stay strong. I want to keep walking. I want to be able to lift my grandchild garden, or dance if I feel like it. And here's the encouraging part. In that same Spanish study, people who replaced processed meats with lean meats like chicken or fish, and even plant proteins like beans, showed slower muscle decline. In other words, it's not about cutting out all the things you enjoy. It's about making smart swaps. Swaps that still taste good, but treat your muscles with kindness. So next time you're standing in front of the fridge thinking about what to put in your sandwich or cook for breakfast, just ask yourself, is this going to build me up or break me down? That one question asked often enough can shift the whole course of how your body ages. And now, speaking of foods that seem harmless but slowly eat away at your strength, let's move on to one that's less about food and more about what you drink to unwind. For many people, it's part of their routine. But for your muscles, it could be a trap in disguise. Let's take a moment to talk about something many folks over 60 consider a little pleasure at the end of the day. A glass of wine with dinner. A cold beer on the porch. Maybe even a nightcap before bed. It's familiar, it's comforting, and for a long time, no one thought much about it. But here's what you might not know. When it comes to your muscles, alcohol can be one of the most damaging things you put in your body. And it doesn't take a lot to cause harm. Now, I'm not here to scold anyone. Life is meant to be enjoyed. But if that one glass has turned into 2 or 3 most nights of the week, we need to have an honest conversation. Because science has made it clear regular alcohol consumption, especially in higher amounts, can quietly shrink your muscles and speed up age-related muscle loss. A massive study published using data from the UK Biobank, a research database with health information from over 500,000 people, found that older adults who drank heavily had significantly lower lean muscle mass than those who drank little or none. And this wasn't just about younger drinkers. The difference was especially visible in people over 60. Their muscles were thinner, weaker, slower to recover. So what's alcohol really doing inside the body? Well, when you drink, especially in larger amounts, it blunts the muscle protein synthesis process. That's the fancy way of saying your body stops rebuilding muscle the way it should. After physical activity, your muscles naturally want to heal, repair, and grow. But alcohol interrupts that healing. It blocks the signals your body needs to make new muscle tissue. And if this happens over and over, day after day, your muscles slowly waste away. And there's more. Alcohol triggers something called oxidative stress. That's like cellular wear and tear tiny scratches and burns inside your body that add up over time. It also increases inflammation, and you've probably noticed by now, inflammation is the common enemy of muscle health. Your body can only fight so many battles at once. If it's constantly busy cleaning up the mess from alcohol, there's little energy left to protect or rebuild muscle fibers. To make matters worse, alcohol affects your digestion too. It can damage the lining of your stomach and intestines, making it harder to absorb nutrients, especially the proteins, vitamins, and minerals your muscles rely on. And over time, alcohol can lead to insulin resistance, throwing your blood sugar control off balance. That means even the healthy food you do eat may not be doing the good it should. Now, you might not think of yourself as a heavy drinker, but for older adults, the threshold is lower. The National Institute on Aging recommends no more than 1 drink a day for older men and even less for women. And let's be honest, many of us drink more than that without realizing it, especially when the drinks are poured generously or become part of our evening routine. But here's the good news: you don't have to quit entirely to protect your muscles. Studies show that simply reducing alcohol to occasional moderate levels can restore your body's ability to rebuild muscle more effectively. That means stronger legs, better balance, more energy, and a greater sense of control over your health. So the next time you reach for that drink at the end of a long day, just take a second to pause and ask yourself, is this a habit that's helping me stay strong or slowly pulling me down? And don't worry, you're not alone in this. Thousands of seniors are now rethinking their relationship with alcohol, not because someone told them to, but because they want to keep living with vitality and freedom. You deserve that too. Coming up next, we'll look at something even more common than alcohol, something found in most kitchens, served at nearly every meal, and often mistaken as harmless. Now let me ask you something simple. What kind of bread is in your kitchen right now? If you're like most people, especially those of us who grew up in the post-war years, it might be soft white and neatly sliced. It toasts, quickly makes a great sandwich, and soaks up gravy just right. And honestly, it's comforting. But here's what most people don't realize: that innocent slice of white bread could be making it harder for your muscles to stay strong. It's not just about bread, of course. White rice, regular pasta, sugary breakfast, cereals, crackers, all those refined carbohydrates we're used to have. Something in common: they've been stripped of their fiber, their vitamins, and their natural form. What's left digests fast, spikes your blood sugar, and sets off a chain reaction that quietly chips away at your strength. Here's what's really going on. When you eat refined carbs, your body treats them almost like sugar. They break down quickly into glucose, causing a spike in blood sugar levels. In response, your body releases insulin to try and bring things back to normal. Now here's where it gets tricky. If this pattern happens too often, day after day, meal after meal, your cells can start to ignore insulin signals, a condition known as insulin resistance. That might not sound like a big deal, but it has a serious impact on your muscles. Because insulin doesn't just manage blood sugar, it also plays a key role in helping amino acids, those tiny building blocks of protein, get into your muscle cells. So when insulin isn't working properly, even if you eat plenty of protein, your muscles can't absorb what they need to repair and grow. Imagine trying to fill your gas tank, but the nozzle is broken. That's what happens inside your body when refined carbs dominate your plate. There's a study I think about often. It was conducted at the Pennington Biomedical Research Center in Louisiana. They had adults follow two different eating patterns, one based on whole grains and another using refined grains like white bread and white rice. After just 8 weeks, they found something remarkable. The group eating whole grains had 3 times the net protein balance. In plain terms, their bodies were building muscle, not breaking it down. The refined grain group, not so much. And it doesn't stop there. Other research shows that older adults who eat more whole grains tend to walk faster, stand up easier, and maintain stronger legs than those who rely heavily on refined carbs. These aren't marathon runners. These are regular people just like you and me who made small changes and saw real physical results. The tricky part is that white bread and refined carbs are everywhere. They're affordable. They're familiar. They're easy to digest, especially for folks who may have lost their appetite or struggle with chewing. But what they give in comfort, they take in strength. And over time, meals built around white rice, white bread, and pasta can leave your muscles underfed, even if you think you're eating plenty. I know change isn't easy, but I also know your muscles are worth it. They carry you through your day. They keep you steady when you stand, help you lift your groceries, hug your grandkids, and even catch you if you trip. That kind of strength is priceless. So next time you're buttering a slice of toast or loading up your plate with pasta, just take a moment and ask yourself, is this going to fuel me or fatigue me? It's a small question, but it opens the door to a much stronger tomorrow. And speaking of fatigue, there's one more food that almost guarantees your muscles will struggle over time. It's crispy golden and smells amazing fresh out of the pan. But behind the crunch hides a real danger. Let's take a closer look. Now let's talk about something that feels almost too good to give up. The crispy edges of fried chicken, the golden crunch of French fries, that buttery biscuit that melts in your mouth. These foods are part of our memories. Sunday dinners, holidays, the smell of something sizzling on the stove. It's hard to imagine life without them. But here's the part. We rarely hear these fried favorites could be quietly sabotaging your strength one bite at a time. The problem isn't just the oil. It's what happens to that oil and your food when it's heated to high temperatures over and over. When you deep fry foods or reheat fatty processed snacks, you create something called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. Think of them like little sparks of rust that settle deep into your tissues, especially your muscles. Once they're there, they cause stiffness, inflammation, and damage that's hard to undo. And it's not just the AGEs. Many fried foods are loaded with trans fats, especially those you buy prepackaged or from fast food chains. These fats were once popular because they made food taste great and last longer on shelves. But we now know they're one of the most dangerous fats you can eat, especially as you age. They inflame your blood vessels, raise bad cholesterol, lower good cholesterol, and trigger a cascade of damage that hits your heart, your brain, and, yes, your muscles. A major 2023 meta-analysis looked at nearly 20,000 older adults and found that people who ate diets high in fried foods, trans fats, and sugary desserts had a 16% higher risk of developing sarcopenia. That's the age-related loss of muscle mass and function. And sarcopenia isn't just about being a little weaker. It's what leads to falls fractures and loss of independence. What makes fried food even trickier is how sneaky it is. It fills you up, sure, but it fills you up with the wrong kind of fuel. Most fried foods are low in protein and high in calories. That means they take up space in your diet without feeding your muscles. And when your body's already struggling to hold on to strength, every missed opportunity counts. You might be wondering, but I've been eating fried foods my whole life. Is it really that bad now? And the answer is, it's not about one meal or one memory. It's about what your body needs at this stage of life. When you were 30 or 40, your body could bounce back a lot easier. But now your muscles are more sensitive. They need better support. They can't afford the silent inflammation or blocked nutrient absorption that comes with fried food overload. And let's not forget how fried foods are often part of meals that lack balance. Fried fish without vegetables, fried potatoes without fiber, biscuits without any meaningful protein. It becomes a pattern that leaves your muscles starved while your bloodstream fills with troublemakers. So next time you're at the store or looking at a menu, pause for a second. That golden crispy item might look tempting, but behind the sizzle is a slow decline. And you have the power to say, not today. Today, I'm feeding my strength instead. And speaking of feeding your strength, we've talked a lot about what to avoid. But now, let's shift gears. What can you enjoy? What foods actually support your muscles and help you walk taller, feel steadier, and live more vibrantly every day? Let's dive into that next. You'll be glad you stayed. Let's start with your first meal of the day. Imagine swapping that white toast or sugary cereal for a bowl of warm steel-cut oats topped with a few fresh berries and a sprinkle of walnuts. Oats are packed with fiber and slow-burning carbs that keep your blood sugar stable. The berries. They bring antioxidants that protect your muscle cells from damage. And the walnuts. A little plant-based protein and healthy fats that keep inflammation in check. Add a boiled egg or a few spoonfuls of cottage cheese on the side, and you've got a breakfast your muscles will thank you for. Now, picture lunch. Maybe you're used to a sandwich with deli meat on white bread. What if instead you built a colorful salad with grilled chicken, or perhaps some tuna, or boiled eggs nestled into a bed of dark leafy greens like spinach or arugula? Toss in some cherry tomatoes, avocado slices, a handful of chickpeas or quinoa, and drizzle with olive oil and lemon juice. This isn't rabbit food, it's real nourishment. Everything on that plate works together to fuel your muscles, reduce inflammation, and keep your bones and joints supported. And don't worry, snacks can still be satisfying. Skip the cookies or crackers and try something simple, like apple slices with almond butter or a handful of mixed nuts with a few dried figs. The fiber keeps your digestion happy. The protein feeds your muscles, and the natural sugars give you energy without the crash. Dinner. That's your time to shine. A piece of baked salmon or grilled tofu served with a side of roasted sweet potatoes, some steamed broccoli, and maybe a scoop of brown rice or lentils. Not only is that a hearty, comforting meal, but it's also loaded with omega-3 complex carbs, antioxidants, and muscle-building amino acids. You can season it however you like: garlic, rosemary, turmeric, a pinch of chili flakes. Just because food is healthy doesn't mean it has to be bland. In fact, the more colorful and flavorful your plate, the better. Even desserts can join the party. Craving something sweet? Try baking an apple with cinnamon or enjoying a few pieces of dark chocolate with a cup of calming herbal tea. These are treats that don't just taste good. They support blood flow, brain health, and even your mood. And your muscles. They get to rest and recover in a body that's no longer fighting the inflammation that comes with processed sugar and heavy fats. And what about drinks? Instead of soda or too much alcohol, think simple water, herbal teas, a glass of milk, or unsweetened plant-based alternatives like soy or almond milk. These choices hydrate you, support digestion, and help deliver nutrients more effectively to your cells, especially your muscles. Now, I know change can feel overwhelming, but this isn't about overhauling your entire diet overnight. It's about making gentle shifts, one plate at a time, replacing, not restricting, nourishing, not punishing. You're not going on a diet, you're building a foundation, a stronger, steadier, more capable version of yourself, and it's never too late to start. The most beautiful part. Your body will respond. You'll feel it in your legs when you stand up more easily. You'll feel it in your arms when you carry groceries or reach overhead. You'll feel it in your breath, your sleep, even your mood. This isn't just about food. It's about freedom. And it starts with the next meal. Now, let's bring it all home. If this video spoke to you even just a little, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What small change are you thinking of trying first? Maybe it's cutting back on sugar, or swapping that white bread for something heartier. Whatever it is, share it in the comments below. I read every message, and your stories inspire not just me, but everyone in our little Health 365 community. And if you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps more people, just like you, find this kind of practical, uplifting information. Don't forget to subscribe to Health 365 so you never miss out on simple ways to stay strong, feel good, and live life on your terms. We're in this together every step of the way.